Okay, we're live.
Okay, thank you, Casey. Welcome, everybody. Today is Wednesday, August 19th, 2020. It's 5:03 p.m., and this is a joint work session between the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners and the Siletz City Council. We have Commissioner Hall and Commissioner Hunt, as well as myself here, so we do have all three commissioners from Lincoln County. And I think we have Mayor Warman on the call, and do we have any other Siletz City Council members? I think it might just be the mayor at this point, and then hopefully some others will join us. So first up, we have a COVID-19 update presented by Rebecca Austin, Public Health Director. And I would say, Rebecca, if you want to give us an update, but then mostly what I'd like to do is just make sure that we have time for our mayor to ask any questions and get information from Public Health.
Sure. Thank you so much, Commissioner Jacobson. This is Rebecca Austin. I'm the Lincoln County Public Health Director. So I can update you on our numbers. We have 440 positive cases. We have had 7,279 negative tests and 11 deaths. And I just got news that we have a few more from Hillside, but I don't have confirmation on their status yet. So I want to reserve that. But unfortunately, we still are seeing some deaths out of Hillside. So there's the other metrics that we're still working toward achieving is our community spread is still kind of bouncing around. I haven't got this week's yet. I think it's going to come out tomorrow. But for the last 3 weeks, we went from 45% of our cases were community spread or cases that we could not pinpoint to an outbreak. The week before that, it was 55%, and last week it was 13%. So go figure. So nothing is being very consistent for us right now, and that is true with almost all of our data right now, actually. I mean, I think the general trend is that we're going down, but we do have these little spikies every now and then. And that kind of explains why our new case rate, which should be under 5% for 7 days, is at 118%. So yeah, when you get a spike, it goes crazy. So, and then also our positive tests. So the percent of tests that we do that are positive is at 7.8%, and that's still really, really high. So we would like to see that around 1 to 3% at the most. So we have some work to do there. And then the other area that Commissioner Jacobson asked about on Monday, and I would like to explain here, because the mayor is here and may not have heard it, that we have kind of a low rate for our contact tracing. So we have been generally in the 90% of getting contacts notified by a contact tracer within 24 hours. And that dropped off last week to 54%. But I'm pretty sure that is because we were changing platforms. We were kind of in a paper mode, and we went to a new platform that the state has put out for us to use called Arias. And so that switchover, I do believe, is what caused a lot of counties' numbers to plummet. I still have been trying to get confirmation from OHA on that, and they were just about to take my question yesterday when I had to hop off the phone. So, and I didn't have time today to check back with them. So I'm pretty sure that's what's going on, but I want to confirm that. So that's really all I have for an update. If the mayor has any questions that I can answer, I'd be happy to do that. Or if anything's come up that the commissioners or anybody else on the line, I'm happy to try to answer.
This is Mayor Warman. I guess my question at this point is, I keep hearing conflicting reports that we're either going to apply for phase 2 on the 24th, or we already have when we're expected to be in phase 2 on the 24th. So I guess my question is, which of those are accurate, and is it the right thing to do?
Well, I will, I can update you on where we are with phase 2, and then Rebecca can talk to you about if it's the right thing to do or not. But we did apply for phase 2 several weeks ago. So we've already made the application. People can get on the OHA website and actually view our application that we made to the state. So we did already apply. The way we applied is that we specified a date that was several weeks out. That was the 24th of August. That was the date that we applied to be in phase 2. We are still waiting to hear official word back from the state. The only thing we've heard officially so far is just that we received your application. We're expecting to receive that word back. I was hoping today, but probably sometime tomorrow. And we have another Board of Commissioners meeting tomorrow afternoon to basically discuss what was in that formal formal statement that we get back from OHA. So we will discuss that then. But it's very possible that that comes back with conditions or guidance or things that we would need to do or prove or what have you. So it may not be just a yes or no. It may be yes with conditions or things like that. So we do not have an official answer yet, but we have applied, and we will see what that official word back is and the discussion and take action as needed.
So Mayor, on your other part of that question, I think we would like to see our data stabilize a little bit more, just to make sure that, because it really wouldn't make sense if we're still having these spikes that really cause so much work. I mean, we got, I think, three new cases today, and each one of them had 15 contacts. That's a lot of work. And so we cannot keep going at that rate. And open up more, which we all know the more we open, the more cases we're going to get. So it is not advisable right now to phase. And I think at some point we're going to have to decide what's more important, moving into the next phase or trying to keep schools in a limited way open for some of our special education needs or for our youngsters, K through 3. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. I know others have different opinions about that, but we all know, just looking across the country and the world, really, that when you open up too soon, you get, there's results from that, and they're not good. So I think this county is pretty dedicated to avoiding that, especially because we now are really recognizing we're in a marathon. And it's not going away anytime soon. And really what's more important to me is beginning to really take care of our workforce, which is, really struggling. And we have flu season nipping at our heels. So, and people are already asking, so if I've got flu symptoms, what am I supposed to do? Quarantine for 14 days? Which is a really good question, right? Because flu symptoms look very much like COVID symptoms. So, we don't have any guidance on that yet, but I think it's going to be a pretty hellacious flu COVID season. I guess we need to put those two together.
So from my standpoint, from most people and my community standpoint is, we're super concerned about not just the workforce, but our kids. This online schooling was pretty tough end of the school year, and now we're going to be starting the school year with 9 weeks of online schooling again, and it's going to be a struggle for a lot of our kids and a lot of our families just trying to manage it. It's scary. I don't really know, from my perspective, I don't really know what right is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're all there too with you. It is scary, and people are struggling, definitely. And I haven't heard anybody yet say, I wish we weren't so judicious, geez, wish we would have opened up way back when we could have, I just, you don't hear that. So I think being prudent and judicious about this is really, is where we're going to be more successful.
Well, I work at Georgia Pacific in Toledo, and I know that at the beginning of the week they rolled things back and got really a lot tighter and a lot more stringent on the COVID-related rules there, because one of the other mills had an outbreak of 50 people, and it basically shut down the mill. It was Cedar Springs, I believe, on the other side of the U.S. from us, but just put everybody in fear mode once again. 50 people and one in the middle of 300 is a giant chunk of people, and basically it brought them to their knees. So the mill is being super, super diligent and careful, like they were at the beginning.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I mean, I'm sorry that it has to come to that, but that is really what it is coming to. People don't really realize that when it doesn't affect them directly, that, oh, this is just a lark, you know, and then something like that happens and we all realize again, oh, this isn't a lark, you know. The virus will have its way, whether we want to accept that or not, really.
All right, well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions from Commissioner Hall or Commissioner Hunt? For Rebecca? I know no? Okay. Doug,
No.
Anything? Okay.
Well,
All right. Willie. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I have a request of Director Austin, and you don't need to provide a response tonight, but I've searched the OHA website, and I would like to know the demographics of the 440 cases in our county. And what are the age breakdown and what are the racial breakdowns? And I don't know if you can provide it tomorrow for the Board of Commissioners meeting or not, but if possible, I'd appreciate that information tomorrow at our meeting.
So we do have by age. I'm not sure that we have by race, ethnicity. I know
No.
I think we started out having that, but I'm not sure that we have that now. And I think part of the problem was that because we had to ramp up so quickly, all the boxes weren't getting checked, you know, in the case investigation, which is where we collect that information. So I think it was getting a little wobbly. But I can definitely check. We are reaching out for some epidemiological support for our county because we don't have an epidemiologist on staff. So I am reaching out for a little bit more help because we kind of need to dive in a little bit deeper. But I know one of you asked about the age distribution between our sporadic cases, and I do have that I can bring tomorrow. We figured that out, or Susan and Amy Snyder figured that out. So I'll bring that chart for sure tomorrow, so you can see that age distribution. And the age distribution for all our cases is something that we have up on our webpage.
Okay, well, I appreciate as much information as you can identify. Thank you.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else from you, Mayor, for Rebecca?
Nope, that's all I have.
Okay. Moving on to the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office. I think we have a couple of people from the Sheriff's Office, but I'll start off with Sheriff Landers.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you, Commissioner and Mayor. Thanks for being here this evening. The update that I was going to provide, and I will definitely answer any questions, but I think the Mayor knows what we have done recently within the last couple months, and but it'll be a good briefing for the Commissioners. We actually changed the format of how we're providing the 80 hours of service in the Siletz Law Enforcement District, which is the boundaries of the Siletz Fire District. That is paid for in partnership with the tribe and the taxing district in that area for the voters. We previously were doing a random 80 hours of coverage. This is what we had done in Walport for several years. But when we became shorthanded, we're kind of watching those hours closely and realizing that we may not have been meeting our obligation or getting close to not meeting our obligation. And so we took the measure to try something different, which is actually assigning 2 deputies just for that area. And there's also a couple other reasons. I think it's going to be good for Siletz that we are able to provide the same deputies that are out there. It does help with getting to know the community and getting to know the problem areas, and can pass it on to others. There's benefits to both sides because obviously with having just two deputies. It's not possible to cover 24/7, and so without that random coverage, there's times when the Siletz district doesn't have a deputy specifically assigned to it, and then we have to cover it with just with a deputy that's working east that time, and they'll take the Siletz calls that come in. So obviously benefits to both, but I think during the times that we're facing right now, that I think it's good and a good. We can always go back. And I think it's good to try it. So Deputy McGuire and Deputy Dowdy are the two deputies that are going to be working out in that area. And I know that Deputy McGuire is definitely familiar with the mayor and other community members in that area. The mayor we did a meeting here just a few weeks ago with a lot of the partners with the district attorney's office, community justice, the tribe, and others, and talked about a number of issues and how this format's going to look going forward. And so I think we solved a number of things, and look forward to seeing how this works out.
Well, I can tell you from a Siletz standpoint, at this point, great. It's the best thing that we've done so far. One of your deputies' biggest, biggest complaints and obstacles with us personally is that people are having more faith in the watch group and calling us and refusing to call the police. And I think that people already know who's on when they're around. They already know how to get a hold of Bruce McGuire. And eventually they'll learn and know Officer Dowdy a little better. But they're already starting to make the calls, and they're already starting to kind of engage with Bruce a lot more, which is great for us because it frees us up to have our regular lives. And it's great for Bruce because that's really what he was after. And just the fact that I can call him directly and not have to have everything go through dispatch and take that long wait sometimes has been great over the last 2 weeks. So I really appreciate the change, and I think it's going to be a huge benefit.
That's good, and I appreciate that. I appreciate those comments, Mayor. I think that it's important that we still encourage people to, if there's an incident that's going on specifically in progress, they do call 911 or the non-emergency number, depending on the circumstances. I think if you heard from that meeting the other day, it's important that we still, a lot of times when we look up the statistics, we're not seeing a lot of crime, but we're hearing it coming down through you and others in the community. And so it's important to report that crime, and we can do that through Bruce. And that works because he can document it by taking a case number and making the appropriate reporting requirements. But I think that was one of the messages that we had in that community meeting a couple of weeks ago, is to continue to report crime, because that's, I know there's some times when somebody may, it could be something where they think is minor, but it could lead us to something a lot larger. And it's always good to document that crime because that's how we can solve it.
And that's the exact message we've been trying to push, whether it's through our page or through people calling here, me or Mark or the city hall, is please call dispatch. I'll give you the number. Even if it's a minor thing, maybe 4 other houses got their gas stolen and it might lead to someone's house getting broken into. Make those calls. And I feel like that trust is getting there and it's starting to make that turn. So that's really what we were hoping for with this, and it seems to be working so far.
Good. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that's working out good as well. I also see that we have Brian Cameron from the Sheriff's Office. Is there anything you wanted to add, Brian?
No, I think the Sheriff did a real good job with that. Were you going to touch on the LEAD program at all, Sheriff?
We can. We haven't. Obviously, it would be good to put it out there, so you can definitely bring it out if you'd like.
Yeah, so we're Impacts grant. I won't even get to tell you what the impacts stand for, but basically help serve underserved communities. What it is a law enforcement assisted diversion program, and what that does is gives us an opportunity to have a alternative to prosecution for some of these low level crimes. We keep seeing the same people doing the same type of thing, and rather than trying to prosecute them over and over and over, law enforcement make the decision that maybe we can get them to a counselor, get them to reconnections, and just give them a different option and really try to help them succeed rather than trying to wrest our way out of the problem, like we like to say. So we're real excited. We're shooting for September to get this up and running. working with the tribe on it as well. And certainly that'll be something for the citizens of Siletz that will be available to them. So we're excited.
Yeah, you had talked about that in our meeting we had a couple weeks ago, and it sounds like a great program. And obviously, it's going to take some time because it's new, but I applaud you guys for that. We always want to see people get help before they get in trouble, and this might be that thing.
Excellent. Yeah. If you have any other questions, I'm around.
IMPACT stands for Improving People's Access to Community-Based Treatment, Support, and Services.
Thank
I
you,
don't know
Sheriff.
that off. I had to look it up. I knew I had it in an email today, so just to throw that out. I was reading it. Yeah, it's good. We were actually one of only 6 counties to receive funding. And I think, well, no one's here from the tribe, but I know the city council works closely with the tribe. That a great partnership in putting the application together with them. And so I know that they look forward to seeing it benefit that area also.
Nice. Thank you for all you guys do.
All right. We had a kind of a short agenda tonight. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, Mayor Werman?
Not really. I mean, the biggest things that I had, you guys have been answering the questions through all the meetings we've had. So I'm pretty, I was hoping some of the council members would be on here so they could ask some more questions. But I mean, I try and hit as many of the meetings as I possibly can unless work's in the way. So I'm pretty up on what's happening around. We've been trying to chip away at the policing issue, and I mean, honestly, it's pretty fantastic out here right now. Right? The fact that I don't have to call Brian and have long talks with him or send him an update every Friday and sometimes every Monday also, there's proof in it. We're running into very little, and so I just that's been my biggest issue for a while, and I really appreciate it all.
I'm really glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that things are, I don't want to say it because then I feel like I need to knock on wood, but I'm glad to hear your report. So thanks for that.
Yeah,
Anything else?
Really comfortable.
Commissioner Hall, any questions for the mayor or anything else you wanted to bring up tonight?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Hunt?
No, I just think it's nice to see a program, if you will, that was developed cooperatively between the county, the sheriff's office, and the city. And while it may not have been ideal initially, it's been changed, and that sounds like it's very effective. So, kudos to all that have been involved. It's nice. Excuse me, nice to see that kind of a collaborative effort and see it be successful.
Thanks, Commissioner Hahn. I agree with you, definitely. So I guess if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and adjourn. But if other city council members who are not able to make it tonight have questions or whatever, they can feel free to email us, and hopefully we'll be able to get back to them with whatever they need or questions that they couldn't be here tonight to ask. So thanks for your time, Mayor, and let's stay in touch.
I appreciate that, and thanks for your guys' time too. I really appreciate all you guys are doing right now. I know it's a great time, so keep up the work.
Thank you. Take care. All right, meeting is adjourned.
This conference is no longer being recorded.